We're talking to Ms. Jenny Granse. You're a candidate for the District 4 school board seat. And that's open. There's no incumbent this time around. We want to talk about why you decided to run, but before that, let's start with the job itself. What does a school board do, and why is it important to people? Why should voters be concerned about who has the job?
Okay, well, in my mind, the school board sets district policy, and they make a lot of decisions that affect the schools and the classrooms and our students. And I just want to be part of that decision-making process.
Why did you decide to run? What made you decide to throw your hat in the ring?
I was raised to take advantage of all my opportunities. And I think it was in 2008, Joanne Simpson said, if you'll vote for me one last term, this will be my last term. And that's when I started thinking, I'm going to retire in 2009. Maybe this is an opportunity for me. My dad immigrated from Scotland. He had an 8th grade education, smartest man I ever knew. But I can remember him telling me numerous times, this is an opportunity, you need to take advantage. Even if I didn't want to, he'd say, you don't know what you want. This is an opportunity. So that's what I'm doing. I'm taking advantage of this opportunity.
And what kind of major issues do you see going on now with the school board? I mean, what would you expect to address in the coming years? You know, that it's going to be major problems or issues.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge, of course, is going to be the economic issue. You know, with the reduction in budgets. This year it looks pretty good, but you know, higher education took the hit, so I'm expecting K-12 to take the hit the next legislative session because there's just only so much money to go around. And education is so expensive today. When I went to school, there were textbooks and chalk. You know, today, when I was purchasing textbooks, one textbook cost more than $50. And then you have software, and there's such wonderful software out there to engage students in learning, but it's very expensive. And if you have the software, then you need the hardware, and we're constantly putting more computers in the classroom, and it's so necessary because we're living in the electronic age, but all of that costs so much money. We need a new way to fund education in the state of Florida, but I don't see that happening anytime soon, and I don't see this economic depression getting better real soon either.
Yeah, it's not looking good, and it has hit the schools already, I think.
Yes.
What about the FCAT? Let's talk about that a little bit too, because that's everybody's favorite subject, I think, when it comes to schools. What's your take on that?
All right, I always tell people I like the FCAT assessment. I don't like the politics behind the assessment. If you look at the test, it's a good test. And I really think our writing scores, our kids are writing so much better today, and I think it's because of that FCAT. As a teacher, we had to learn how to teach writing because, wow, now we're held accountable for writing on that FCAT test. So I'm not opposed to the test per se. It's just the politics surrounding it. You know, the paying the schools for making an A, and then you've got, you know, poor performing schools and they have such struggles at some of those schools, and it makes the teachers look like they're not doing anything and they're just working their tails all off every day. That's what I don't like about the FCAT. But it's going away. You know, there'll be another test coming in about 2014 that will be on core values, and that will be more of a national standardized test. So we'll look forward to a new test.
That'll be interesting. And just kind of related subject, parent participation. You go to school board meetings, sometimes there's a lot, sometimes there's almost nobody there.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think? You've taught. What do you think about the current levels of parent participation, and is there any way to
enhance that?
Yeah.
It is so important because kids from schools where there's lots of parent participation, they do better. Their parents are expecting them to do well, and so they do perform better. But you know, there's so many parents today that are so busy working to make a living, they can't be at their child's school. It's really difficult. So that's where the school board needs to step in and really make sure that the decisions they make for their kids, for those kids, are appropriate, and you know, that those kids are still receiving a quality education. There is a lot of apathy. You know, I do go to school board meetings, and there are very few parents who attend. They'll attend for recognition, and then, you know, but you don't see parents attending for information, and now we're putting it online and on the television, so that should help parents too. But, and there are schools that have more parent participation than others.
Yeah, that's true too. Final question. Just tell voters, how are you uniquely qualified for the job? Why should they vote for you, basically?
Okay, I'm running on my experience as an educator. Good or bad, some people have told me, well, we've never had a retired educator elected in Santa Rosa County, so I don't understand why. I would think that it's time for a K-12 educator to be on the board, one who understands how board decisions affect classrooms and affect kids. I was really concerned when the board voted to decrease the elementary school day by 30 minutes. That's 2.5 hours a week. I've talked to Superintendent Rosdeck about it, and he agrees. He wants to put that time back in the classroom at a time when Tallahassee is mandating a 90-minute reading block, a 90-minute math block. Teachers are being held accountable for teaching science, writing. We can't cut the school day. I remember before I retired, and I would go over the mandates that Tallahassee sent down. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we don't have enough time for this. We need to increase the school day. Well, we can't decrease the school day, but it's all a matter of economics,
Yeah. How long did you teach?
I was a teacher for over 20 years, and I was an administrator at Gulf Breeze Middle School for 13 years, so I understand the classroom. I subbed in a classroom last year, west of our primary, for a week. A teacher talked me into it. Never been so tired in my life. Those teachers are superheroes.
Yeah, they absolutely, I will not argue with that. Jenny Granse, thank you so much for talking to us today, candidate for the District 4 school board seat at the primary elections this year. Thank you.
I appreciate it so much, Deborah. Thank you.